Good morning, baseball fans. Big old Buck back here with Buck's Baseball Podcast, and happy Saturday. Today we're going over one of the more intriguing baseball teams this year, and that's the Seattle Mariners. They're intriguing for a couple of reasons. We're going to get into that in this video. I'm going to explain why I think they could push for the AL West, why I think they could be a dangerous team in the postseason. I'm going to give you my three favorite all-time Mariners players, as well as a player to invest in early and often in MLB the Show 25. That and so much more on this episode of Buck's Baseball Podcast.
Hey, take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
All right, the 2025 Mariners have a great pitching staff. And when I say great pitching staff, I'm mostly leaning on the starters to start. They are very, very good. They have a chance to be one of the most dangerous rotations in all of baseball. They're led by Logan Gilbert, one of the best right-handed pitchers in all of baseball. They have Luis Castillo, George Kirby, Bryce Miller, and Brian Wu. Bryce Miller and Brian Wu are both the younger guys in the rotation, but they are awesome. Like, if they're at the bottom of this rotation, that's crazy. I know the Mariners have been trying to move Luis Castillo and his contract because they have some other pitchers they can use in the rotation. They haven't done that yet. They could use, some help in other areas. That's why they've been trying to move his contract. But as it sits today, Saturday, the 15th of February, Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, George Kirby, Bryce Miller, and Brian Wu are their starting five. They, like I said, are one of the most dominant starting five. They're all right-handed. They could really use a lefty starter, I think, to mix that up a little bit. But don't get it twisted. They strike out a lot of batters. They don't walk a lot of batters. They just get outs. I would say that Logan Gilbert has a chance to be in the Cy Young conversation, but he's not the only one. I think Brian Wu is very special, and so is Bryce Miller. But Brian Wu has a chance to really, really ascend this season and take over that number 2 or 1B spot in the rotation. When you look at their bullpen, they're anchored by closer Andres Munoz. They have Colin Snyder, Gregory Santos, Trent Thornton, Taylor Saucedo, Edward Bazardo, Gabe Spire, and Carlos Vargas. Andres Munoz is a strikeout machine, almost 12 Ks per 9. Fangraphs likes him this year a lot. They have him at a 1.5 WAR, 26 saves, which I think is probably around the target you're looking at, because based on their pitching, they should be in every ball game. But the problem is, can they get enough offense to help this team get the wins they need? But I believe in their pitching staff. I think Munoz is a great closer. Like I said, their starting staff is great. They have Trent Thornton, who can help set up. Gregory Santos is really, really good as well. Probably 10 strikeouts per 9. And then they have Gabe Spire from the left side, as well as Taylor Saucedo from the left side, who both can help get outs from lefties in the game. On the injured front, they have Jackson Kowar and Matt Brash. Both had Tommy John surgery. Kowar had it in March of last year and May of last year for Brash. So we could see them at some point this season, and that would help shore up their pitching staff even more. Brash and Kowar are both relievers, both really good relievers. So if they can get them back by the All-Star break and get them in full swing to help pick up the bullpen a little bit, that would be great as well. You're talking about their offense. Their lineup looks like, according to Fangraphs, you got Victor Robles, Julio Rodriguez, Cal Riley, the big dumper, Randy Arozarena, Luke Raley, Mitch Haniger, J.P. Crawford, Jorge Polanco, who I like the signing there, and Dylan Moore. Off the bench, you have Mitch Garver, who's more than capable of being a starting catcher, Leo Rivas, Donovan Solano, and Dominic Canzone. Now, outside of Garver, nobody else there really strikes fear in anyone. I mean, they brought in Solano as a free agent just recently in January. Decent off the bench, but they're really going to have to make a move, in my opinion, for another bat. They could really use another big top of the order type bat, middle order, somewhere around there. I thought maybe they'd be in on Arenado. Maybe they could have got the Cardinals to take Castillo's contract or, exchange some money in some way. I really think they could use another bat, and third base would have been a good spot because they can move Polanco around wherever they need him to play. And, they could slide Arenado in there, but it's not looking like that's an option. And I'm not sure Arenado would want to go there, even if that was an option. But They desperately need another bat in the lineup, in my opinion. Now, when we're talking about their top prospects, you have Tier 1 Colt Emerson, shortstop, 19-year-old at high A. He's not going to be ready for a while, but he's a great hitter, great fielder. Eventually, you're going to see Colt Emerson in the bigs. We got Cole Young, another shortstop, double A. Felnin Celestin, another shortstop. That's 3 shortstops at the top of their their rookie list. They got Johnny Farmello, another single A. Harry Ford at double A. Harry had a rough year last year. He's definitely going to have to take a step forward this year. Hopefully he can get to triple A. Hopefully he can find that offense again, because I really am rooting for Harry Ford. They also have Lazaro Montes, Miguel Oroa, again, young guys who aren't ready for the big leagues yet. Tyler Locklear, 24-year-old first baseman, could see some play this year. Logan Evans, Ryan Sloan, I'm not even going to try to say his name, Gerangelo Singenti, maybe? I don't know. And Ty Pete, a 19-year-old shortstop. The Seattle system's pretty good. They have a lot of Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 level prospects, according to Prospects 1500. So that bodes well for them. And even the players past Tier 3, there's some good talent there. But I really am a big Harry Ford fan, big Colt Emerson fan. So I'm looking to see what these guys do this year to take a step forward. If you're looking for a hot take for their pitching staff, I'm going to say that by the end of the season, Brian Wu is their number 2 starter. I really like the kid's arsenal. I think he's really tough. Bryce Miller's right there as well. Wouldn't be surprised if it's him. But I think Brian Wu, who we're going to talk about later in this video some more, is the guy to keep an eye on and has a chance to be right there with Logan Gilbert at the top of this rotation. On the offensive side, I don't know if it's really a hot take, but Julio had kind of a downish year last year for him. I mean, I guess you could say, but I expect Julio to bounce back, so that's not really a hot take. My hot take is they're going to pull off a trade for one of these starting pitchers that they have and add some more offense. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be a middle order type hitter. I'm hoping maybe we could get something from Seattle and send Arenado there, because I think he would fit in really well there. But yeah, they're going to have to add a bat, and I hope that that they do that, because that's the most needed thing here in Seattle. Overall, I think this team has a chance to push in the AL West, but the Angels are tough. I think the Astros are going to be tough. Not as tough as they have been. You know, they have taken a step back. So Seattle, the division is there for the taking, from the Angels, from the Mariners, the Astros. Any of those 3 teams have a legit chance to win this division. It's just going to be about, does Seattle have enough offense to help their pitching staff get there? All right, my 3 favorite Mariners of all time. This is probably one of the easier ones to do. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr. right at the top. Easy, right? Everybody's probably favorite Mariner of all time. The kid, he was awesome to watch. The first season with his dad, man, that was historic. And as someone growing up watching the game, watching Griffey Jr. play a lot, he was just something special. If the injuries hadn't came in, we might be talking about him as the greatest player of all time. Anybody that says he's overrated, which some people do, they're weirdos, dude. I mean, Griffey was the real deal. Defense, offense, speed. He did it all. Griffey Jr. easily my favorite Mariner of all time. Number 2, Randy Johnson. Arguably one of the best left-handed pitchers of all time. Top 3 or 4 easily. Dominant. He controlled the ball game, struck out everybody when he pitched for Seattle. And those teams were super fun. I wish they could have won a World Series the year they won all those baseball games, but they didn't. But still, Randy Johnson, Ken Griffey Jr., easy 1 and 2. Now, number 3, it's not Jay Buhner, Edgar Martinez, none of those guys. They had some great players, but Felix Hernandez, man, I loved watching King Felix pitch. One of my favorite pitchers of all time. I think he, has a legitimate argument to sneak into the Hall of Fame. I don't know if he'll ever get in there, but man, he was so dominant for such a nice period of time. I really wish he could get more recognition, but King Felix, easily my number 3 Mariner. There was a lot of good ones, though. Like I said, Jay Buhner, Edgar Martinez. You can't forget A-Rod, Richie Sexson. All those players, man, were really fun to watch. But my 3 are Griffey Jr., Randy Johnson, and King Felix. So now we get to the part where I give you one player to invest in. Now, it's not easy to do, because their pitching staff, while they have some young players, they've already come into their own a little bit. Like Brian Wu and Bryce Miller are both golds in MLB The Show already. George Kirby, Logan Kilbert, Luis Castillo, those guys are, already there. But I think Brian Wu has a real chance to grow into a diamond this year. And maybe they start him out as a high silver. Maybe he doesn't get the gold treatment to start the year. Even if he does, he'll be a low gold, and I think he's definitely worth investing in because he has the stuff, like I said, to be at the top of the rotation. So Brian Wu would be the player for the Mariners that I would definitely be investing in. Everybody else, like I said, is there. I mean, unless you want to try Randy Arozarena because he did have sort of a down year, and maybe you count on a bounce back in the middle of that lineup. For me, Brian Wu is one that you want to invest in for sure. Bryce Miller maybe a number 2, but Brian Wu for sure. All right, so that's your 2025 Seattle Mariners. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below who your all-time favorite Mariner player is. What do you think about the Mariners this season? Do they have a chance to win the West and make some noise in the postseason? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're one of the new viewers here. We picked up 100 new subscribers in the last 2 weeks. We're growing fast here. We need to get more comments and likes and more subscribers. So tell your friends, tell your family to come check out Bucks Baseball Podcast. And until next time, you can catch me right here. Same Buck time, same Buck channel.